Audio check 1 2. Audio check 1 2 3 4 4 3 2 1. Hey guys, AJ Town here, live with the T Storm Chasers, ready to bring you some latest weather information that we are currently watching. In fact, we are watching a little bit of snow for the Sioux Falls area as well. But we are going to jump into some severe weather. Oops, sorry there. We are going to jump into some, yes, severe weather is going to be moving through the area, so be prepared. We do have to start discussing that severe weather risk that we are going to be watching very, very closely over the next 12 hours here as the system does start to move into the area and through. Good news is it's not going to directly impact the Sioux Falls area. Bad news is, though, it's going to affect our friends and families to the south of us, is what we are watching real quick. As I get out of the way, let's jump into it. As we start to see this low pressure system that is moving through the area, that's what we have to watch very, very closely, as that's where those storms are going to start to fire, is right in front of that low pressure system. As it moves across the area there, we do expect to see things start to fire about that 5-6 o'clock time frame. As we put the map into motion here, we do see some rain showers really impacting the area there. And then the system is going to do that wraparound system that it normally typically does. Bring us a chance in the Sioux Falls FSD area there. A little bit of a chance of seeing some snow showers, unfortunately. Then as we go through the rest of the week, we are looking at a good rest of the weekend. Then as we come into Tuesday, we watched another rain-filled system that is going to be very moisture-filled and stick around for a little bit as far as further down south as that comes through the area. Then we start to watch another system Thursday into Friday that we are seeing another rain system really progress into the area. Let's take a closer look at your severe weather risk. As I did mention here, we are going to start things off at 18 Zulu, which is going to be about your lunch hour there. Then as we put things into play, we do see right along I-29 corridor south of the Sioux Falls area, we really start to see things ramp up and east of that. And then right along the I-35 corridor, I-90 corridor is where we're seeing the next cell as well. As we go into the overnight hours, unfortunately, folks, the severe weather risk sticks around. Yes, severe weather. Every time I say that, it does go up. No, it doesn't go up. Don't worry. Anyways, we are looking at seeing that severe weather risk for mostly the Omaha area. In fact, let's jump into that as we look at the Storm Prediction Center's latest outlook. Here is going to be that yellow area. Let's take a closer look at that. That yellow area is going to be where that severe weather risk is going to be the highest, which is going to be that I-80 corridor between Kansas City, I-70, and I-80 corridor. And basically the I-29 and I-35 corridor is what we are looking at, seeing that severe risk of that. Now, what are we looking at, folks? We're looking at a tornado risk out of this area here south of the Sioux Falls area, south of the Sioux City area. In fact, let's zoom in just a little bit here and take a closer look. As you can see, as we take that closer look, it impacts the Omaha area, I-80 corridor, between the I-80 to the I-70 corridor, basically west of the I-35 and areas there. Now, there is a small risk in the Sioux City area. Now, that small risk is a 2% risk. Now, keep in mind, though, that 2% risk is what we had when we had the tornadoes move through the Sioux Falls area. So we want to reiterate that that 2% risk is a risk. Definitely going to be possible of seeing a spin up or two in that area. However, the primary threat with this is going to be that hail and is going to be the wind. But as we take a closer look here at your hail risk there, that is right in the enhanced area that you are seeing. That yellow that we saw earlier is what we are looking at seeing. The greatest threat with this system is going to be the hail. We are seeing there between that I-29 corridor between I-80 and I-70 over to the I-35 corridor. As we take a look at now, the next probability of seeing stuff is going to be the wind. The wind is also going to be a risk as well that we are watching as this does really start to ramp up and progress, is going to be the wind. Now we will look at a closer model here. Oh, I did switch right. Okay, as we look at a closer model here in just a second, we'll really see why I say the wind is going to be a factor with this as well. We are looking at the wind being a potential risk as well with this too. So definitely, oh, that's why this doesn't make sense, because I have the wrong one up. There we go. We got her changed. Now this is why we see the stretched out a little bit. We'll show you in just a second here as far as that severe weather risk. What are we looking at and when are we looking at? Good news is, as we go into day 2, that severe weather risk shifts further south. Now as we go into day 3, that does continue to affect the south. Good news though, as we go into day 4, we're not looking at any severe weather nationwide. So that is definitely a good piece of news there. Now, jumping back to this map, I mentioned snow, and this is why. Here it comes on Friday. We see that little blast looping around, right? So let's take a quick look at our snow totals. Good news is, folks, we're only looking about 1/10 of an inch of snow for basically the Sioux Falls area, Pierre, Rapid City. Areas further north might see a little heavier of the snow accumulation. Fargo at 4.5, and then northern portions of Minnesota is going to see that as well. Jumping back to, we're going to jump over to this system here. Now let's take a look at this hour by hour when we are expecting things to really fire up. So as we come in about that 2 o'clock time frame there, north of the Omaha area, we are seeing some rain showers starting to create. We are seeing those cells start to pop up and form just a little bit. There about that Sioux City, about that 5 o'clock time frame, we are seeing a little bit of a stronger indication. I want to make sure it's in my... Whoops. We are seeing a little bit of a stronger indication of a heavier cell about that 5-6 o'clock time frame. And then over into Minnesota. Then as we go into the 7 o'clock, that system pushes a little further northward and brings us the chances in the Sioux Falls area. Now, in the Sioux Falls area, my main thing with this, let me jump back over here. I gotta find the right button. Is going to be the hail risk, and is going to be that wind risk is going to be our two, is basically going to be the hail risk. I'm sorry, the wind risk is not existent with that. So as we go back into that WSV3 here, this is going to be more of a hail risk that we are going to see move through the area there about that 8-9 o'clock time frame. But down south, look at this, folks. We're going to move a little further south here. About between that 7 and 8 o'clock time frame is when we are seeing things really start to fire off. About 9 o'clock, we watch these cells just become growth and strength and into the overnight hours. Now, this is also suggesting, as you can see, the way that this is graphed, it is suggesting it is going to be a wind event. And it is creating a line of cells as well with this as well. But as we take a quick look back here, again, for the Sioux Falls area, we're looking about 7 o'clock. About 7 o'clock is what we are seeing some cells firing off, where we're going to see the small risk of seeing it as a severe weather event. However, my confidence isn't high that we're going to see this severe weather event. The severe threat is, again, down further south of seeing that severe weather risk. No, we don't have a severe weather risk at this time. However, there is going to be that probability. But as we take a quick look at your 7-day forecast, where one of our team members, Riley, does for us. Thank you again, Riley. Greatly appreciate those. You do see that there's that 30% chance for today in the area, for the Sioux Falls area, of seeing some thunderstorms. We are going to see those showers come through the area through the morning. We did see that risk as well. And then Friday, again, we did mention that we might see about 1/10 of an inch to 2/10 of an inch of snow fall on Friday. Then as we go into the weekend, we do expect to see things warm up. Now, what is causing this and what is really getting things fired up is we're seeing a cold blast down from the Canada that is causing this cold air really to move into the area. And then as that cold air blast pushes down, we are seeing the risk of seeing that severe weather. You can see the cold air blast right here is what we are looking at. Let me move just a little bit out of the way here, and you can see that cold air blast that is coming down. It is mixing with that warm air that is moving up from the Gulf and really combining and creating the severe weather risk that is coming into the area today. So that being said, definitely if you have friends, family, colleagues, anybody down south, and down south I mean Omaha's down south, share this video with them. Like it. Get them weather aware, because this is going to be a later event. It's going to be about 6 to midnight. And those tornadoes that are going to spin up are not going to be visible after dark. So we definitely want to get people weather aware. Most likely we will be live covering this as severe weather starts to break out through then. And we'll definitely bring you guys the latest information. However, again, real quick, I want to jump into that severe weather risk is for the area in yellow. However, if we take a quick zoom again, real quick, it does include the Sioux Falls under a slight risk or moderate risk of seeing some severe weather. Don't worry, folks, for the Sioux Falls area, we will not see that tornado risk. We do see it more of a hail risk is what we see with that again. I am covering things again, and I do know that it may get a little annoying, but we definitely want to reiterate things and refocus on things, because this severe weather event that we are going to see does have the probability of creating some tornadic events. So stay tuned with T Storm Chasers. We'll continue to cover the latest weather information as weather events do start to pop off. Thanks, guys, for joining us. Have a